just cool. All right, man. Well, thanks for doing this. What time is it where you're at?
It's 1 in the morning.
Oh,
So
man. Well, we appreciate this over in the States, especially on the East Coast. You taking the time to spend some time with us. Like I said, it's an honor for me to have some time to talk to you. And really, I want to expose my network to your music and really your mission and your movement and what you're doing, because I think it's unbelievable. So what I wanted to do first is just quickly kind of introduce you. I'll lean on you a little bit because I don't know a lot other than what I've
yeah,
read and things of that nature. But we are live with international singer-songwriter Native, who his music, just to give everybody a quick background to this. When I was writing my book, The Magic of Mayfair, I came across Native's music and really just fell in love with it. It was perfect timing in regards to me writing my book, The Magic of Mayfair. And really, there is a very emotional chapter that I write about where the song Ocean, which is a huge, huge smash hit, we'll talk about that in a little bit, really resonated with me. And that's where how I found you, if you will. Again, would love for you just to talk a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got into music, whatever you want people to know. This is broadcasting live right now on multiple pages. So the US
yeah,
is definitely getting their intro to you, my friend. So I'll turn it over to you.
yeah. I mean, first of all, thanks a lot for having me. It's my pleasure talking to you. I hope you can hear me.
Yep.
And the sound works fine. So I was born and raised in Switzerland in Europe, and yeah, I was doing kind of music all my life. Started when I was really young, just playing guitar, writing songs, doing all kind of different things. And then in my early, yeah, I don't even know when exactly. A few years ago, I moved to Los Angeles, and ever since, kind of lived in different places. I lived half the time I lived in Los Angeles, pursuing music there, writing songs there, producing, and all these things. And the rest of the time, I'm usually in Europe touring. I do most of my touring in Europe and most of my downtime and writing music in Los Angeles. And yeah, and now I'm in Zurich, kind of the place where my family is during these kind of weird times. I was touring actually in March, and then they had to cancel the tour and everything, so I kind of got stuck here.
Yeah.
So.
No, totally. It's wild times right now. And again, it kind of, with technology, gives us the opportunity to connect across the world, which is amazing. So, I guess one of the first things that I wanted to talk about, because, I always say, and not that I'm a musician, I'm a writer, so I understand kind of writing and from that standpoint, but your music, I think the lyrics really are, it's a lost art form, writing great, meaningful lyrics. And I think you do an amazing job of that. Anybody,
Thanks.
I would say, go on, look at Native's music. You can pull up the lyrics to a lot of your songs right on Google. Can you talk a little bit about the lyric side to writing and recording, and why that's so important to you? And when you read it, you're really almost telling a story from my perspective, which again, I think a lot of musicians out there kind of rush to get the song out, and don't really put a lot of thought into the lyrics, where I think you take the complete opposite perspective. It almost feels to me that the lyrics are just as important as any part of the song.
I mean, it's interesting, and I mean, it means a lot coming from a writer like you. So thanks so
Yeah.
much. Um, I like writing. I think. I mean, I kind of when I started out making music and producing music, I was a guitar player. I didn't even sing. I didn't write. So like writing lyrics was nothing I ever kind of wanted to do or dreamed of doing. And then I kind of started because I was playing in a band, I was singing, so I started writing lyrics, and I kind of had to. And then I just fell in love with writing. And these days, I write a lot. I write poems, and I write stories and all these things. And then it's just my biggest challenge usually to kind of connect them with music and kind of yeah. But I mean, um, yeah, it's an important thing, at least for me in music. It's the first thing I notice when I listen to music. What are they saying? What's the story? What's the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah.
So when you're writing, you know, and again, we'll kind of talk about some of the songs in a minute, but where are you typically getting your inspiration from? Is it, you know, I know when I'm writing a book, a lot of it has to transcend, or it transcends from my own personal life. The way that it comes out, there may be components to my life that maybe are mixed with things that I just kind of get, you know, inspiration from, but a lot of it ties back to kind of who I am. What's inspiring you to write these amazing songs?
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the same. It's just kind of my life and the struggles of life and all these little things that you kind of try and figure out and make sense of. I think a lot of my introspection and like dealing with my thoughts and how I view the world. I put into words more than talking about it or something. So I think, yeah, it comes kind of from my within and deeper world
Sure.
that I'm, yeah.
Yep.
But
And
I
it's,
can't really tell. Yeah.
no, it's funny you say kind of like life challenges, things that you've dealt with over your life. You know, I put some things down that I wanted to talk to you about, so I'll jump around a little bit, but I think you hit on something. I always like to tie any of these go lives that I do back to life challenges. If you ever read, you know, people that have read my book out there, you know, a lot of it is having to do with people that I love and were close to me that did suffer from some mental health challenges, just like even my own life challenges. It sounds like you also kind of get some inspiration from your own ups and downs of what you've been dealing with over your life. But you know, talk a little bit about what's going on with this pandemic right now across the world and people's mental health. And I think music is critical in regards to keeping a positive state of mind. I feel like music is one of the things that is a natural high. When you turn it on, it can change your mood. It can change your way you feel. It can change your perspective on life. So, what are your thoughts right now in regards to kind of this whole pandemic that's out there? How can people out there leverage, you know, your music, but music in general? What is your thought on that? Do you feel that music really can make a difference in regards to making somebody feel better from a mental health standpoint?
Yeah. I mean, I think music is one of the strongest kind of ways to deal with things. At least for me in my life, it's usually music and maybe books that I kind of feel drawn to deal with things, and it can be challenging or even dangerous sometimes because you know it can take you somewhere where you maybe not even ready to go or don't want to be or something. But I don't even want to think about a world without music or books or text or something. I think um, yeah, a lot of it has to do with just feeling someone else is going through something that connects with me on, and you feel understands. You know, you've got that feeling of like, oh man, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah.
And I think especially in times like the ones we are right now, it's more than ever. I mean, these are really weird times, I guess, because we're all going through the same thing, but it doesn't affect us in the same way, and we all have to deal with our own, however it affects us, and it's so different for each and every one, even though the situation is completely, you know, isn't that
Yep.
different?
No, absolutely. And you know, we're live, so people are watching. So thanks to everybody that's tuning in right now. You know, the one thing I want to convey out there to everybody is my passion and my excitement for being able to talk to you. And I want to paint the picture before we dive into the song "Ocean," which is an unbelievable song. I want everybody to paint the picture that you find an artist that you love and you listen to that song. And I know Cheryl was just somebody that's watching mentioned how important music is. I listened to Ocean I don't know, 100 times probably over the last 6 months. And to connect with the song like that, and then be able to speak to the creator of that song and see you on the screen and talk to you is a treat. It's really, I'm very fortunate. So I just want everybody out there to kind of understand kind of how excited I am right now in regards to being able to speak to you about just how special this particular song is. So let's dive into Ocean. It
Yeah.
is a international hit. It's got over 11 million views, and I've been following the song for a while. And maybe I'm wrong, but it looks like it jumped up a lot over the last 6 months. It's
Yeah, I
growing
think so.
internationally, globally. I want to encourage everybody to go to YouTube, Ocean by Native. Please listen to it. There's different versions that some have the lyrics. But could you talk a little bit about this song in regards, and I've got the lyrics in front of me. How did you birth this song? How did you create this song? It's, again, one of the best lyrically written songs that I can ever remember listening to. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's an interesting song. I was with a friend of mine. I was in Los Angeles at the beach near Santa Monica, and we're just walking there and having spent some time there. And I remember while we were talking, I kind of said most of the lyrics just talking with her, just like that, that I'd rather see the ocean once in a lifetime, and it was a day before I left to go back to Europe, and I didn't know when I'll be back in Los Angeles, so that was kind of a challenge for me to not know, because you leave all your friends behind and your some of my work and all these things, and so I had this really long flight back to Europe, and I think it was really an early morning when I arrived or something, and I just grabbed my guitar and I wrote kind of the song in a few minutes. It's one of these songs where you don't really know where it's coming from. It's just, yeah.
It's unbelievable. Was there something that inspired you, and how I envision the lyrics? So I'm going to read a couple if that's okay. I'd rather see the ocean once in a lifetime and miss it for the rest of my days. You probably get asked this question a lot. People probably read through the lyrics, so I apologize if it's repetitive type questions, but I think it's important that everybody's watching, and I think it's special. I interpret it as I'd rather have this amazing special moment than never have it. Be able to, even though there potentially could be pain, it could be a friendship, it could be a relationship in Native. Just so you know, that's the line when I was writing the chapter about my best friend, my childhood best friend, who I lost. He took his life in 2006, and I tell part of that story in there. And I felt like this song was talking to me, and I'd rather have had that friendship with him for those few years that I did, and that was more important to me than dealing with the pain of losing him. Am I kind of going where you were, or is that just kind of me my interpretation?
No, it's what I mean, how I felt writing that song. It's not, I didn't have like a specific image in my head when I'm writing it, but it's not about the ocean, and it's like but it's about people, it's about memories, it's about sometimes we feel like we need to hold back with, I don't know, or keep a guard up, or whatever it is, just to not get hurt so much. And I think it has a lot to do with that, because it was in that time when I experienced that quite a lot of, letting people go in my life, where I felt like I'm not going to see them again, or I'm not going to be able to. But I was still glad that they were part of my life for at least that period of time. And it's even in a relationship, it's like most of the times we once it ends, we view it as a failure or something, instead of just celebrating for what it was, for the amazing time you had or not. So yeah, it's definitely what I feel when I listen to it, or what I think about.
Yeah, and for everybody tuning in now, hi Patra, hi Christine, Jason. I appreciate everybody tuning in. If you're just hopping on now, we're talking to native international singer-songwriter. We're talking about his song Ocean, 11 million views on YouTube. I would not doubt if it does not double that in the next year. I think the song is that special. And the other part, native, that really transitioned with me, or really connected with me, was when I wrote the book. In the chapter, it's called it was the agony of leaving, kind of when I was moving off my street. And I always remember, I'll always miss you. So as I was writing that, I was literally saying goodbye to my friend, my best friend, who later on, unfortunately, we do lose him. He took his life, like I said. So everybody out there, please go on YouTube, type in Ocean by Native, listen to these lyrics. So the next thing that I wanted to mention, it has got to be unbelievable for you as a singer-songwriter to see other people performing your song. So I've gone on, I've seen other people actually doing Ocean. Some of them sound really good. So talk to me a little bit about that, to be able to have the opportunity to ask somebody that is this successful. What is that feeling like when you see other people wrapping their arms around something you created and then trying to give their own interpretation of that and redo it?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, I love it, and it's kind of weird for me. It's usually once I release a song, or I don't know if you have the same thing with your book, but it feels like it doesn't really belong to me anymore. It's like it's not mine anymore. It's like it doesn't even feel like it's my song. It's out there for, and whoever want to do with it whatever they want and whatever it means. And I think the most special thing for me, especially with that song, is just the amount of messages I get from people, especially opening up. I think, yeah, I have a lot of people reaching out, talking about the loss of someone that they knew or something, and that song kind of helps them get through this, and that means a lot. I mean, that's really something special.
Absolutely. No, I agree. I think, like you said, you kind of create this, and you put it out there, and other people, again, really wrap their arms around it, and it becomes kind of a part of them. So again, if you're tuning in, we're talking to native international singer-songwriter. We're talking about his song Ocean. Talk to me, if you can, native, a little bit. I love this song, Brother Eye. It looks like it was released maybe within the last couple weeks. Beautiful song. Again, I encourage everybody to go up. More people are tuning in right now. Go on YouTube, type in Native, and you're going to see all his music. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. But if you could talk a little bit about the song Brother Eye, just again, a beautiful, well-written song.
I mean, it can mean a lot of different things. When I recorded that song last year in Los Angeles with a friend of mine, Jordan, and it was interesting to see. It meant something completely different to Jordan than it did to me when I was writing it. For me, it's a song I struggled, and I still do sometimes, but not as much anymore. A lot with depression. And it's kind of that song that for me deals with that kind of weird feeling of it's somehow a part of you, and it's not, but it's like something you want to get rid of, and sometimes you embrace it, and it's kind of that struggle and that fight. And so for me, when I actually wrote 3 songs. One is Brother Eye, another one is Brother, and another one is Darling. I've only released Brother Eye yet, so I haven't released the other 2. And it's kind of that, for me, it's Brother stands for the depression. So that's, I've never never really talked about it openly about, that it means that, at least to me. It doesn't have to mean it
Sure.
to someone else, but it's about, yeah, that kind of strange struggle and yeah.
Yeah, it's powerful, and I think everybody that watches my go lives, excuse me, knows that I typically tie this back to, again, life challenges that we face, struggles, things of that nature, and I could feel that in the music. Again, we got more people tuning in. We're with native international singer songwriter, somebody that, again, so everybody knows kind of the connection here. Really became acclimated with natives music when I was writing my book, The Magic of Mayfair. So for anybody that's wondering, kind of how did Jason end up kind of meeting you, that's kind of the way that we did it. The other thing I want to give you kind of some credit on is you reach back to fans. I sent you a note. You wrote me back pretty quickly. I can only imagine. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of comments under the song Ocean when you look at it on YouTube. How do you, is that important to you that you can keep that connection? I mean, even somebody at your level right now with a song with 11 million views on YouTube, and I keep saying that because as somebody that has released some things on YouTube, it's hard to get 500 views. So the fact that you have 11 million means that you've got something special that people want to watch. How do you find the time to connect with people that want to reach out to you?
It does mean a lot to me. I mean, if someone takes time to write me, and it means a lot to me, and it's yeah, it's encouraging. It's encouraging. It's yeah, I just embrace it. I love it, and I think it's the least to just say thank you or whatever. And it's always interesting. I mean, um, it's these days right now are a bit weird because I'm not touring and playing a lot of shows. Because when you're touring and playing shows, you're kind of traveling all the time, meeting a lot of people. But if you're not touring, it's like I spend most of my days working in the studio writing music, and it's not as,
Yeah.
busy and whatever as it might seem. And so it's yeah, I like that, and I love, like, yeah. I mean, I remember. I mean, even reading through parts of your book, it's. I mean, that's, in the end, it's. I think the best thing when you do something and it, people get inspired through it, and then you send something back and that inspires me again, and it's like that kind of back and forth. And it's not like um you have that artist and he's kind of inspiring everyone and that's it, but it's more like a back and forth, and you do something and people reach out to you, and then, yeah, maybe cover your song, or write a few messages to you, and that inspires you again. And it's like that kind of, I think that's the beauty of today, to have that kind of connection, or be able to have it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Technology gives, I think, people just an easy opportunity to reach back to people that they inspire, for sure. So real quickly, just want to pause. So for people that want to follow you, learn more about your music, I know you've got your YouTube channel, Facebook, Instagram, things like that. What's the best place to have somebody kind of tune in to see what you're doing as new things and projects start to release?
Yeah, I mean, Instagram, Facebook, and I think, yeah, YouTube for music, and Spotify. But I'll usually do all my announcements on Facebook and Instagram. So
Cool.
yeah.
Are you planning to do anything? I know a lot of artists are doing some sort of, maybe remote live event via, Zoom or something like that. Do you have anything unique or interesting, since you can't tour right now? I know people, listen, if you were coming to my town, I would go in 2 seconds to go
Yeah.
see you. So are there any plans to do something remote like that?
No, I don't have any plans at the moment. And I don't know if I'll do anything. like if I'll do any like live streaming shows or something.
Got
I'm
it.
not sure
Got
yet,
it.
maybe, but
Okay, fair enough. Um, do you have, I know it's, again, there's so much going on right now with COVID and things like that. Do you have anything in the US planned down the road, or?
I mean, I was planning to be back in Los Angeles in September, and then I usually do like local shows, maybe some shows in California. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen. I don't know
Yeah.
if that will be possible to um yeah, but I'm definitely like talking to some people right now to see if we could make a bigger tour happening in the States where I can, travel across country or something. That'd
Yeah,
be pretty cool.
that would be amazing.
Do some small
Love to have you in the
venues.
Northeast, New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I hope everybody that's tuning in, and we've got, people that are continuing to hop on, check out Native. I think the best way to go is YouTube. I mean, it's the most
Yeah.
amazing resource that we have to just type in, what music, what song. I would suggest to start, type in Ocean by Native. And from there, you're going to be drawn in, and you're going to want to listen to every single song that he does. Even the way you shoot your videos, the lighting, the black and white, it's so soothing to the soul. The lyrics really, again, are just so dynamic and inspirational from that standpoint. It's really unreal. So what, I think we'll probably start wrapping up here in a little bit, but any projects coming up, anything that you can share with people? Again, I know you just released Brother Eye not that long ago, one of your newer songs, but anything that people can look for coming from you their way?
I have a few songs that I'll probably release within the next few weeks or months, something like that. And I made an album with us, I think it's 7 songs or 8 songs. But I'm not sure when I'm gonna release that one. So I do have a lot of music, and I had some time the last few weeks to get some of it done and finished. So yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff to release soon, hopefully.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I was going to ask you too, do you any collabs coming up with any other artist? And then, I kind of piggyback on that. I'd love to find out from you, what kind of music, do you love and listen to outside, of kind of your own genre, if you will. But I guess first off, any collabs, any other artists that you are planning on working with?
I'm actually finished a few songs with a few different artists. They're some of them are rappers, and I think two kind of more pop songs. But I don't. It's not. I was just singing on the tracks and writing with them, so I don't have any clue about when they're
Yeah,
gonna release it or
sure.
anything like that. So I have no idea. And yeah, what was the other about music that I
Yeah,
listen to? Or
what are you listening to? What's in your kind of favorite
um,
rotation?
that's. I mean, I grew up listening to a lot of rock music. I think my biggest influence was Pink Floyd, David Gilmour. I was starting as a guitar player, so David Gilmour was my kind of. He was my hero, and everything about Pink Floyd was kind of probably still is my biggest influence in just the way they treated music and everything. And then I listened to a lot of singer songwriters like Damien Rice. I love Bonnie Bear. I love Frightened Rabbit. And so yeah, I listen to so much music.
Yeah.
It's and lately, yeah, the last few weeks during this pandemic, I kind of went back to listen to a lot of my childhood music. I was listening to Rage Against the Machine a lot. I
Yep.
was listening
Yep.
to all these bands, Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, Nirvana. I was just listening to a lot of it's nothing like it doesn't sound anything. I don't sound anything like that, but it's just
No, I hear you. It's really interesting to hear sometimes what singer-songwriters, musicians listen to from that standpoint. For those that are tuning in that don't know who Native is, maybe I'm bringing you kind of to the screen for them for the first time. How would you describe your music? I'd love to kind of get your perspective on if somebody was to say, hey, and I don't like to categorize things, but how would you describe it? And do you feel that it's consistent? Do you sometimes change kind of genres, or how would you describe it?
Well, it's really hard. I mean, I would say it's singer, songwriter, folk, kind of music, but I like to play around with instruments and sounds and vibes. So it's not just like acoustic guitar and singing some lyrics. I like a kind of more cinematic approach to music, which sometimes, it's more and sometimes it's less. But yeah, I don't know. I'm doing a bad job at describing
No,
my
it's
music.
listen, it's what I like about your music, like I said, is that it doesn't categorize into kind of one pocket. It kind of goes into different based on the song. But listen, so this was awesome. We're already over 30 minutes. I know it's really late where you're at. Native right now is in Europe, so we're talking like 1:30 in the morning for him. So we appreciate you tuning in with us again. Before you leave, I just want to make sure everybody knows where to find you. So again, we're talking to Native, singer-songwriter. Look him up on YouTube. I want to encourage every single person in my network. A lot of people are going to see this. Please go type in the song Ocean. It will touch you. It will move you. It is so special. And right now it's got 11 million views for a reason, because it is, in my opinion, an absolutely amazing song. And it will inspire you. I think other people out there, when they hear it, it'll inspire you. That's kind of, talking to the audience out there, perhaps to tap into a passion of yours or something that you've been wanting to do for a long time. Could be writing, could be doing anything. But it will get you to think about life. And I think that's what's so special about the song. So with that said, Native, thank you so much for taking this time. I'm so happy that folks in the US are going to be able to really, again, get your name out there. And I think you're an artist that's just going to continue to keep getting bigger and bigger. And the songs that you put out are just going to continue to grow as well. So really appreciate you taking the time, man. I know it's late.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's all good. Thank you very much, man. It was good talking to you.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch for sure. And
Yeah.
definitely, hopefully, as you start to release, new music, man, you always got a home with me. In my network, we'll get your music out there. We'll promote whatever we can, because, you're a humble guy, you're a caring guy, and you're somebody that, it's impressive that even with the success you've had, you reach out to people and you care about people. So that's important to me, and I appreciate that.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, my friend. Take care. Get some rest. I'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.